Here's my shocking confession. I think the entire Jurassic franchise is one excellent movie, one good movie, and so far, three bad movies. I watched all 5 Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies this past week, and I have an opinion about it. Shocking. I know. Time for a completely biased ranking of the Jurassic movies. You better watch this video before it gets a copyright strike from Universal. Mostly I just play dinosaur games, but sometimes I like to branch out and show my amazing versatility and talk about dinosaur movies. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more incredibly varied content completely unlike this. Hype for Jurassic World Dominion has been put on hold, and the release date for the movie will most likely be postponed. Which sucks, as one of many things that suck nowadays. But, thankfully, we have a franchise that is already 5 movies strong to fall back on and to entertain ourselves with.
Yeah, that's nice. Gotta go.
I watch the original at least twice a year anyway, so I think it's obvious which is going to be my number 1 pick. Oops, spoiler warning, I guess. But the past week I also put on The Lost World through Fallen Kingdom. That was mostly a lot of fun, but also, at times, really not fun. So now is the perfect time to further entertain myself and hopefully you as well by ranking all 5 movies from best to worst. Please share your own ranking in a comment down below, and if you want, delve into why you ranked them the way you did. That's exactly what I will be doing in this video. Note, this ranking is totally biased. I'm basing this ranking on my personal preference, and while that is in part influenced by measurable directorial, cinematic, and script quality, nostalgia and my own crazy brand of geek weighs heavily in my decision. Also, be aware of the difference between is better and I like it better. Or worse. As I explain why I really don't like particular films or aspects thereof, I'm not passing judgment on others who do like those installments or scenes. We like what we like. But if you don't think the original is the best, we can't be friends. I'm kidding. I'll be friends with anyone. I'm lonely. Please help me. I'm just going to leave this little disclaimer down in the bottom, just to remind you at any given time, everything that is being said is just my opinion. For me, the original is head and shoulders above the rest. I'll even go as far as saying it is my favorite movie of all time. I love this movie. I watch the behind the scenes for Jurassic Park pretty much as often as the movie itself because I just appreciate all of the work that has gone into this project and the effort that is put into it shows. The movie is so cleverly made. Of course it benefits from being able to draw from great source material, but Steven Spielberg's passion and skill are also evident throughout, and David Koepp wrote a brilliant and tight script for it in combination with Michael Crichton himself. Exposition is kinda necessary in a science fiction film, but it's done so well that you never feel like you are being force-fed anything, and you get effortlessly swept up in the reality of this theme park. The runtime is chock full of iconic scenes, from great dialogue to suspense and action set pieces. And even almost 3 decades later, the dinosaurs are still convincing. Even though the eye isn't tricked by every single frame, the visual effects never fail in the sense that they take me out of the movie. The dinosaurs feel real, majestic, and dangerous the entire time. On top of great dinosaur characters, Jurassic Park gives us entertaining and relatable human characters. Ellie and Alan feel completely real to me. Real people, not polished Hollywood characters. The script doesn't use any overt cheesy tricks to make you like them. They are just likable. They are effortlessly likable. The other characters are a little bit hammy at times, but they still fit. Their lines and behavior never feel out of place or over the top. It's never too much, it's always just right and just what the movie needs in the moment. In conclusion, I love this movie, there's really no two ways about it, which is why it is my number 1. I'm really curious to know if you agree or if one of the others is your top pick, so don't forget to share your ranking in a comment. The second movie on the list is the second movie I saw and the second movie to be released. It's The Lost World Jurassic Park. I've grown to like it much more than I initially did. Maybe because Ian becomes more enjoyable as you get older, and his dedication to sarcasm just makes you go, same. Honestly, me. Nick and Sarah are a bit bland but inoffensive. The daughter, Kelly, I don't find redeeming as a character in any way. I think the movie would have been better without her. Eddie is one of the most underrated side characters in the franchise. I enjoy how snippy he is.
If you feel just that qualified at all, you might try flicking the switch to on.
And the man was a damn hero. The brutality of his death is completely undeserved, but I don't have any qualms with it. I will be working on a video ranking the movie deaths as well, so if you want to get into that discussion, please subscribe and stay tuned for that, because I know there is some controversy there, and I find that very interesting. I also really like Tembo as a neutral antagonist. He's not a mustache-twirling bad guy, he's not even really a bad guy. It just so happens that he's on the other side of the people that are our protagonists. In terms of characters, the movie doesn't provide the best lineup, but definitely not the worst either. Oh no. The plot for The Lost World Jurassic Park is reasonable, in the sense that I believe the characters' motivations and how that drives everyone's actions. The movie is more fast-paced than the original, and that serves it well. There are so many scenes and sequences that I love, and conceptually what I also like about it is that the film doubled down on Steven Spielberg's original notion that the dinosaurs aren't movie monsters, they're just animals, and I think that really shines in this movie. Some people vehemently disagree, but I love the San Diego finale. I think it's even more exciting and intimidating to see the dinosaurs in a familiar environment, and I wish the third movie had immediately gone this route, as opposed to the franchise derailing and not really getting back to that point until what would be the 5th movie in the franchise. The shot of the raptors coming through the long grass is movie-making perfection, in my opinion. It gives me chills to this day. And "don't go into the long grass" is a weekly recurring phrase in my life, since I prioritize making YouTube videos over mowing the lawn. But in conclusion, I buy into the premise, lots of awesome scenes, but also some drab characters and a less interesting story than the original. A well-earned second place, I think, but quite a bit below the first one for me. So if we were to look at a tier list, I'd classify The Lost World as B tier. Third on the list, and the reason this video is probably titled my controversial ranking of the Jurassic Park movies, Jurassic Park 3. Hear me out. And please remember what I said at the start. This is my personal ranking of the movies. I'm not saying one movie is factually better than the next, except the original, which just is, I'm sorry. I'm saying I like it better than the next. Yes, JP3 is a bad movie. Let's just get that out of the way. It's so bad, in fact, that I've dedicated an entire video to ranting about all the things that I don't like about it, and even how I would have fixed some things to make it better. If you haven't checked out that video yet, I'll throw the link in here somewhere, and, before you think that I'm ranking it third because it's a good movie, please watch that video first. Because it's not a good movie, and here's my shocking confession. I think the entire Jurassic franchise is one excellent movie, one good movie, and so far, 3 bad movies. And of those bad movies, I just happen to find JP3 the most entertaining, for my own stupid reasons. Since my rant video delves into the negatives, I'll briefly touch on some of the positives here. They're few and far between, but there are some of them, and I feel like it's necessary to better explain why I've ranked it above the 2 Jurassic World movies. First and foremost, I really like the Spinosaurus. I know it's a point of contention, but I love the design for it, and I even love that it defeated the Rex. And I thought that the attack on the boat on the river, Side B, was very exciting. It was glorious and terrifying. Second, I love the raptors in this movie. I'm talking about the raptor design, mostly. This is the last time in the franchise that the raptors were legitimately scary, the way I think they ought to be. It is, in my opinion, the best design for the Velociraptor in all of the movies. It's actually pretty hard to think of more positives, but I also like the Pteranodon sequence. Their inclusion brought something new and refreshing, and even though they didn't optimally utilize it, it's still pretty good. And while I expressed during my rant video that they did Alan dirty, and they really did, I do like his stern bitterness and the near fatherly relationship he has with Billy. And surprisingly, although Amanda and William H. Macy are the worst characters to grace the Jurassic screen, a positive in the roster for me was Udesky. I think, like Eddie Carr, Udesky is underrated. He is a sympathetic character, and when you start to think about it, he has a kind of interesting story. And, you know, Hollywood pats itself on the back whenever they subvert expectations, but Udesky really pleasantly subverted expectations. You think he's a mercenary, you might even think he's a bad guy at the start, but he's just a regular dude in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Never can tell about people, can you?
Ain't that the truth?
I'm grasping at straws here, I know. But here's a powerful thing. Here is where nostalgia plays a role for me. JP3 was the first Jurassic movie that I got to see in theaters, and for which I consciously experienced that build-up, the hype, the excitement. And when I first saw it, I was 11 years old, not much of a movie critic, not even much of a critical thinker at all. I just thought the dinosaurs were cool, I was scared, I had fun, it was fine. So, influenced by that nostalgia and just happy memories, I'd rank it as E tier, with the E standing for entertaining, although I know better, but I like cool dinosaurs and it makes me feel like a kid again, so don't judge, okay, bye. Right, moving on. For me, the second to worst movie in the franchise so far is Jurassic World. There is a lot to unpack here because you are probably expecting me to really delve into why this is lesser than JP3 in my opinion. So here we go. Jurassic World is CGI soup to me. By only using one animatronic in the entire film, they really sucked the life out of the dinosaurs and out of the actors as well.
I'm a firm believer in whatever is the best technique to achieve a shot for the film is how it should be done. If it needs to be CGI, it should be. But if you can get it live in camera, then why not? Because some of the best acting comes from reacting.
At the best of times, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool CGI. Instead of...
It's a dinosaur.
The most egregious offense is how the shift into the World franchise changed the Raptors. On top of the fact that I think it was a mistake to have them fully CGI, especially when you get multiple scenes where the human characters are really close to them and are supposed to have some sort of bond with them, I really don't like the Raptors' redesign. I was shocked when I first saw them, shocked at the mediocre CGI, and shocked at their new appearance. The new Raptors never scared me, not even when they were staring down Owen or straight up murdering an entire ACU team. What I do like about the movie, well, seeing the park operational was really cool. The Indominus Rex was pretty cool. The Mosasaurus was definitely cool. And the fight at the end was kinda cool. I was never invested, never thought for a second Rexy would die, never even really felt like it was Rexy, but cool. It didn't really give me what I want out of a Jurassic movie. I want to be excited and I want to be scared. And as a dinosaur movie, the dinosaurs were just a letdown because they were so obviously fake. So what about the human characters? Can the human characters save the movie? No. They have a huge advantage of being preceded by Amanda and William H. Macy, which makes them look good in comparison. But being better than the worst characters in the franchise doesn't make you good. Let's go back to that comment we put a pin in earlier. The script doesn't use overt cheesy tricks to make you like them. That applied to Ellie and Alan, it does not apply to Claire and Owen. They are the classic Hollywood leads. They aren't real people, they are polished Hollywood characters. The beautiful and slightly neurotic Power Woman felt like a rom-com character to me, and then you have the cool bro, played by a guy who literally ends up playing a superhero. Jurassic World was almost Chris Pratt's audition tape for Star-Lord. But first, Claire. I was annoyed with her right from her introduction, with her talking to herself, which was the most awkward way a character has ever introduced themselves to an audience. Her transition from cold and aloof to some sort of motherly badass was unearned. Owen was so over the top. He might as well have been wearing a button, "You're supposed to like me." And I don't respond well to that kind of storytelling. Working on his rad bike, living in his Airstream trailer, snatching bugs out of the air like he's Mr. Miyagi. After Claire made a remark about how he smelled, I swear they could have had Chris mug at the camera and promote some sort of deodorant or aftershave or expensive fragrance. It was like one of those douchey commercials that tries to make something everyday seem epic and mysterious and badass just so you'll buy it. Speaking of commercials...
Hey, you want to see something else cool?
This movie is just soulless to me because it sold its soul to Mercedes. The two kids are given an inconsequential parents are getting divorced backstory as some sort of dollar store writing trick to make us feel for them. It's like the writers thought that that was what made Lex and Tim successful. They were wrong. Henry Wu basically became a Bond villain. Not too big of a fan of that either. Masrani being a weird, hippie, cool guy capitalist at first.
How is it doing? Are the guests having fun? Are the animals enjoying life?
To risking thousands of lives to keep the park open.
This is Control, put out a park-wide
Hang
alert.
up that damn phone, please.
To then claiming to have the moral high ground with Wu.
I have the high ground!
To then flying into battle like some sort of hero.
You don't need anyone else.
It was all over the place. Vic Hoskins was very near to a mustache-twirling villain, and it turned out the franchise was actually ramping up to make their villains even more cheesy. But at the time, Vic took the cake. I didn't like him at all. He was one of those villains that didn't feel threatening, only annoying. Again, more like an antagonist in a rom-com. You hate him just because he's such a dipshit. And that also leads me to a very big negative, the military subplot. As crazy as it is, the original made me buy into the idea of a dinosaur theme park right away. But Jurassic World could not sell me on their premise of raptors in the military, no matter how hard they tried with Vic's ham-fisted expositional reasoning. He did not convince me that this was a feasible idea in any way, shape, or form. The movie acknowledging that it's actually a bad idea didn't help. Once more for the screenwriters in the back. Lampshading doesn't help. Conclusion. It was 2 hours of actors playing characters I didn't like, standing on a set or green screen looking at a tennis ball. So it is the 4th movie in my ranking and the 2nd E tier, with the E standing for, even though I just complained about pretty much everything, I'll put it on from time to time and skip through most of it to get to some of the cool scenes. Last and least, Fallen Kingdom. Originally, my script read, the F in F tier stands for Fallen Kingdom. Because I had started writing this script before watching Fallen Kingdom and was actually not even planning on seeing it because I felt absolutely no drive, no interest to do so. But in the end, I knew I had to, for all fairness, and it's a good thing I did. I still think it's a bad movie, but I don't have as bad of a time watching it as I remembered from only watching it once before in theaters. So instead, it's another E tier for me, but still ranking at the bottom compared to the rest. Fallen Kingdom is mostly a hollow flick to me. The only emotion they successfully made me feel was a bit of sadness when the dinosaurs jumped off the cliff and when the Brachiosaurus died. Note that I'm not including the finale here. That did nothing for me. Other than those two moments, I was emotionally flatlining throughout the entire movie. After the cold open, at least. The cold open was excellent, and that lays a weighted blanket of disappointment on the rest of the runtime. The problem I have with the plot is that it doubles down on the concept of weaponized dinosaurs that I already told you I'm not down for. The idea of a laser-guided dinosaur is just madness to me. I still have no love for Claire or Owen, and the fact that they pulled a "they broke up between the movies" is infuriating, because it takes us right back to Jurassic World, wherein they had romantic involvement before the movie, and now they're on weird terms, but they will inevitably grow closer again over the course of the movie. Great. A rinse and repeat relationship development. Enthralling. The new good guys that are introduced are just plain annoying. We all know Franklin is annoying, I don't have to hammer on that. But Zia too. She's a paleo vet, or whatever they call it, without ever having seen a dinosaur in real life? So did she go to paleo vet school before or after Jurassic World went to shit? Because if she went to paleo vet school after, she's a dimwit, because there are 0 job opportunities there. The only living dinosaurs are on that island, which sees no human interference. And if she studied to be a paleo vet before Jurassic World went to shit, surely at least one of the courses would have included flying the students out to the park to at least shovel shit somewhere. She would have at least seen a real-life dinosaur at some point. And then for that career path to actually work out and for her to be the chosen person to accompany the group on their mission is extra laughable. When you consider there are former Jurassic World employees that surely would have joined the cause of protecting the animals. Someone better qualified with actual experience. Zia is inserted as a proxy to try and recapture that wonder of seeing a dinosaur for the first time, but that ship has sailed. Let it go. Other than that, she's one of those cool girls in movies that we're just supposed to like because she's a cool girl. The villain was painfully obvious, and the most cartoonish a Jurassic antagonist has ever been. The idea of him smothering Lockwood is actually kinda creepy, but it's totally undermined by how it's handled. I wasn't thinking about how sad it was, or that him committing murder with his own hands actually makes him the most villainous antagonist the franchise has ever seen. I was just thinking, this old fart is an idiot. Lockwood knows this guy has done evil things under his own roof, and has betrayed his trust, and has even endangered his beloved granddaughter, or daughter 2.0, whatever, but he still entrusts him to call the police on himself? Speaking of the cloned daughter. What? We haven't seen the next movie, so we don't know if this plot thread goes anywhere, but my guess would be nowhere. It was most certainly a pointless plot twist in this movie. My final gripe with Fallen Kingdom is that a lot of the times it felt like they were inserting a Marvel style of humor, or what they thought a Marvel style of humor is, and it detracted from the movie.
I rode my motorcycle through the jungle with a pack of raptors.
We're not compatible.
Let's go, Beefcake.
My dad? Not yet, kid.
I think they should have embraced going darker, but instead it has these weird jokes like it was trying and failing to be something that it shouldn't have been anyway. There's humor in the original, sure, but it's clever humor.
That is one big pile of shit.
There's nothing clever about what they tried to pull off in Fallen Kingdom. Franklin's screams are an obvious example, but also the way Owen rolls away from the lava. I was like, okay, am I watching a $180 million slapstick comedy? What? And there is so much more. Let's be honest, the success of the MCU has had an effect on movies of that genre. I am convinced there are Hollywood producers looking over directors' shoulders and prodding them to make it more like Marvel because that sells tickets. It was something Justice League caught flack for, and I think both Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom are displaying the same symptoms, with the latter being the worst of the two. But that's just an opinion. My opinion. Share your own opinion on the movies down below, and please remember to be kind to both me and to other people. Let's just have a fun discussion about the movies and pass a little bit of the time. If you want to see more videos like this mixed in with the dinosaur gaming content, give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, enjoy the movies.